Hello everyone, this is Arrow 007,
With Toy Clubs.
and we just watched X-Men Days of Future Past, the Road Cut.
Indeed.
Yeah, so, we're going to give our thoughts on that, and if it's worth buying, if you've already gotten the theatrical cut. If you haven't if you haven't bought a copy of X-Men Days of Future Past at all, go ahead and get
the Road Cut. Yeah, there's no reason not to, because it has the theatrical cut on there. And I will say, this is going to be a spoiler review, like a spoiler-filled review.
We are assuming you have seen
We're assuming you've seen the first one, or you've seen the theatrical cut already. If you haven't, go buy it. Go buy the Road Cut, watch it, enjoy it. But, yeah, spoilers from this point on.
Yeah. I guess the big question is, does it really improve the movie all that much?
And I kind of don't think it does.
I think it's a mixed bag.
Yeah,
very mixed bag.
There's a few lines here and there that I think should have made it into the theatrical cut, like just little dialogue and
for
stuff.
me, the biggest part that should have been left in is when they're explaining all the exposition about sending Wolverine back in time, and some of the mutants in 2023 are like, wait, if you do that, some of us might not even exist anymore.
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah, but we'd be saving the world.
And
like they actually are having to make this decision. I like adding.
And that should have been in the theatrical cut. I think there's much more stuff in the theatrical cut that I like about the theatrical cut than the Road Cut. But there's probably a middle ground where there's some stuff that, as far as what the Road Cut adds, there's some stuff they could have taken from what the Road Cut adds, put it in the theatrical cut to make it better.
Yeah.
But overall, what the Road Cut adds, I think, makes it worse. Because, like, I don't like the Rogue plotline at all, really. You mentioned earlier that it kind of explains how the Sentinels have become, like, such great at adapting.
Yeah,
because they've been...
Because people always question, like, why do the Sentinels, why is Mystique the big person
when it should be
who's
Rogue
behind the creation of the Sentinels? And, yeah, it's not Rogue.
And it does kind of hint towards that, because they're like, oh, they're experimenting on her, they must have had her for years, that explains why the Sentinels have gotten so good at adapting these abilities.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that it's really necessary to explain that.
I mean, if you really cared that much, you could extrapolate it. You could figure that out.
You can just be like, oh, they probably got, once they use Mystique's DNA to create Sentinels, and then eventually those Sentinels caught Rogue.
Yeah.
And then they have Rogue. Because Rogue's not with the Resistance, so it's like, okay, she's probably screwed somewhere and being experimented on.
Use your imagination, kids.
Because I was kind of interested in the Rogue Cut, because the way they were talking about it, I was thinking it was going to be like this kind of mutant containment camp, and it was going to have, like, we were going to see maybe some other mutants when they went on the rescue mission. It was going to be this, like, we're going to see, kind of what all these mutants that have been captured, like what they've been doing with them, and just kind of explore the dystopian society a little more.
Nope.
But no, they literally break into this complex.
No, it's the X-Mansion.
No, I didn't even notice that, honestly.
Yeah, she's stuck in Cerebro.
Okay, interesting.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Magneto and Iceman go to rescue Rogue, and they're in the sub-basement of the X-Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
interesting.
That's set with that's part of a montage along with the scene where Magneto breaks back into the Pentagon to get his helmet.
Well, let's hold off on that for a second. Okay. I'll get back to that. But yeah, they break in. Okay, so they break into the X-Mansion. I totally didn't notice that.
Yeah.
They break into the X-Mansion. They get Rogue. They defeat. There's no, like, security or anything. I think there's, like, one Sentinel that they kill, or like it attacks the jet. The X-Men X-Jet.
Well, Iceman gets toast. That's when he dies.
That's right. No. Yeah, that's right. Because they also changed that.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking of the theatrical. They also changed it where Iceman doesn't die in the end fight with the Sentinels. He dies right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind.
Which makes me wonder, how early on did they figure out
that the Rogue Cut wasn't going to work?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because that's...
I've listened to the commentaries, and I don't think they ever specify, okay, at this point in filming, we realized, hey, maybe we should cut all this stuff out.
It's basically an alternate ending, not by, like, as far as, like, the main points of the movie go, but, like, they had to refilm stuff.
Yeah.
Like, completely. Like, 2 different cuts with different actors, which is interesting. So Iceman gets killed, and they get Rogue. They defeat some lab scientist and a Sentinel or two, and then they take Rogue back, and then Rogue replaces Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
And then she does exactly what Kitty Pryde does
for the rest of the movie.
Which I guess, and she replaces Kitty Pryde in the theatrical cut, and Kitty Pryde just sits there.
Yeah.
Which doesn't explain how, because I thought the whole point was going to be that Rogue was going to help, maybe like steal Logan's powers to heal Kitty Pryde, and then continue that. And that would explain, but Kitty Pryde is still like dying over there.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was going to explain how she wasn't dying, but in the theatrical cut, because in the theatrical cut she gets stabbed, and then they just kind of ignore it, because that's supposed to be the whole setup for the Rogue plot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's kind of unnecessary. I'm glad they took it out of the main movie. I think it's just it feels like it's basically there to be like, oh look, it's Rogue. Because otherwise, they might as well have just filmed. I don't know why they didn't do this. They might as well have just filmed it where, instead of Logan cutting Kitty Pryde, and when he sees Stryker, just have Logan spaz out a bit, and then they just to show that this is causing him problems.
I don't know, just to build up more tension. Because like she could die, even though she's.
Because like otherwise that plot line doesn't do anything in the theatrical cut, and it doesn't really mean a whole lot in the Rogue cut either. It just gives an excuse for Rogue to show up.
Yeah. And
so I'm not really a big fan of it. It also does explain how the Sentinels found them.
Yeah.
Because like a Sentinel arm gets trapped in the what's the name of the X-Jet thing? X-Men Jet.
The X-Jet.
Is it called the X-Jet?
Yeah.
I thought there was a different name for it. I think there might be one in the comics.
It's just the X-Jet.
Okay. Yeah. A Sentinel arm gets trapped in there, and it has like a sensor in it, and that leads Sentinels there. But like.
That's necessary because they still have the line at the beginning of the movie where Iceman says they always find us.
Yeah, like I thought that was already explained well enough that they're just really good at finding mutants. Yeah. I didn't think that we needed more explanation for how they found that. So I don't know. I don't think it really adds much. And there are, so that's the main basis. And like you were saying, this is spliced in with Magneto breaking into the Pentagon to get his old mask. Which is one of my favorite scenes in the theatrical cut. It's just this really cool thing where he's like, and he's got like the fedora and the sunglasses, and he's like marching through, and he's
the fedora is twisted on one side,
and he's spinning the metal spheres, and he like crushes the guy's temples with it at one point, and like there's this really like intense music playing, and it's got this momentum going.
Although I like how they add back, he sees the coin from First Class, and he actually looks at it. He doesn't even address it in the theatrical cut.
Oh, really? Okay.
But in this one, he like takes his sunglasses off.
And see, that would be fine. Like that's fine. It would be fine in the theatrical cut. But they splice in them rescuing Rogue with that. Yeah. And it ruins I feel like it really does ruin the pacing of that. And I'm like, because again, that's one of my favorite scenes. Yeah. In the first one, like it's just a really cool shot and everything. And I'm not a fan of that.
I guess the other big thing that's added is the Mystique Hank subplot.
Kind of. Because the way it works in the Rogue cut is so in the theatrical cut, Mystique goes to the airport and Xavier tries to stop her, and she keeps going. She just goes. I guess she just gets on the plane to Washington, whatever.
Yeah, but then when that lady bumps into her and the passport falls out of her hand, he zooms in on that and it's like, oh, she's headed to Washington, and that's how they figure it out.
Yeah, and then.
But in this version, he doesn't do that.
In this version, in the Rogue cut, she ends up going to Xavier's mansion after that
because he threatens. He's like, no matter what you do, I will stop you.
Yeah, and then
don't make me do that.
She stays there for a while, and then she ends up breaking Cerebro.
Yeah,
and then she leaves.
Spoilers.
Yeah, we explained it there. Spoilers. And then.
But before that, she has an intimate scene with Hank McCoy.
Yes, and it doesn't do a whole lot for the movie, I guess. Like beyond
unless it was supposed to be set up for stuff they're doing in Apocalypse. Maybe it's unnecessary.
If that's the case, then that's fine, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really throw off everything.
Although I do like how they kind of build that he's changed as a character because he's like, the whole thing is she's like, oh, you said I would be unattractive to everyone. Like you said, I would never be deemed beautiful like this. And what do you think now? And he's like, yeah, I think you're amazing. It's me. I'm the one that I'm concerned about.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, it's a nice
especially
scene.
because earlier he's exposed as like the first mutant ever in front of the public.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not a bad scene or anything like that. Like the writing's fine, everything.
Yeah, it's nicely done.
It's well done. I just don't know that it's. I'm glad they took that out of the main movie because
they have the whole mutant and proud callback. Yeah, from First Class.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, I mean, it's a nice scene, but I don't think it really does much for the movie because that never pays off in the movie itself. And I don't know. I mean, if that pays off in Apocalypse, that's one thing. But I don't know.
The only reason I like that it stays in the movie is because at the end, when Mystique's like about to walk off and she looks back at Xavier and Hank, like she gives a look to Hank and they're like staring at each other. I'm like, that wasn't really set up in the theatrical cut at all.
That's true.
That's not really addressed at all.
Yeah.
Other than a couple times where he goes, "Oh yeah, well she is really amazing."
And I mean, wasn't that kind of hinted at in First Class?
That was more than hinted at.
Okay, I couldn't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. So I mean, I guess you can argue that, but yeah. So those are the two main things, and for the most part, I think they're unnecessary. I think the Rogue is definitely unnecessary.
Yeah, it is.
And the Hank Pym. Well, we actually just saw Ant-Man recently, so that's still fresh in my mind. Hank McCoy.
There you go.
And Mystique thing that
was Paul Rudd in this movie too?
Yes, he was.
Oh,
he played Wolverine.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does. It really does.
Not really.
Their little storyline might be necessary for future movies, but I mean, even then, I don't think it's gonna come out of nowhere in Apocalypse.
Yeah.
When you're just looking at the theatrical cut. So
well, I'm
if
thinking
they do that.
of looking back at it as like a trilogy. It's First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse. If they do end up going somewhere with their romance, it's like it would be nice to have that thing in the middle.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It depends on Apocalypse.
It does.
Which
it depends.
Theoretically, it shouldn't have to do that. So,
and aside from those two things, I feel like everything else I noticed that was little extended lines. Everything else I think was fine. There was just little extra dialogue and stuff like that in random places. Wasn't really anything that affected the movie.
They have another F-bomb with Nixon. He just goes, fuck me.
Also, I don't really know what they're trying to do with this. The thing with Scarlet Witch. Because they go into Quicksilver's house, and in the road cut, there's a scene where the girl who is seen sitting on Quicksilver's lap at the end of the movie, her mom
is dressed all in pink, mind you.
Yeah, her mom turns to her and says, "Go bother your older sister," or something like that. And it's like, wait, so that's not Scarlet Witch, I guess, or maybe it is, and they have another. Why are there two sisters?
It just seems weird.
I don't know why they did it like that, unless they're planning on maybe having another character be one of their siblings. I don't know. That's a weird thing for them to do. Like, I don't know why they would put that in there.
Yeah, it's weird.
Who knows? Maybe that's... I assume we'll know more about that in Apocalypse, or maybe that was a plotline idea that never went anywhere. I don't know.
I know we've been mostly bad-mouthing the road cut, but it's still an excellent movie.
No. And it's just... It's only... The only reason we were bashing it is because the first cut is so good.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's hard to make any changes that make it better.
It's just because it's so tightly focused.
Yeah.
It knows exactly what it wants to do. This one, like...
It sprawls a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little too... Tries to do a little too much. A little too much.
Which is weird, considering the plot line that they're doing, but
whatever. Yeah.
Like the theatrical cut, I would give, like, an A-.
Yeah.
I know it's one of your favorite movies.
It would be an A for me. Maybe, like, an A+. Like, it's top 5 movie.
It's my favorite X-Men movie, so... But the road cut, I probably give like a B+. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not that big of a drop, but it's like I should have watched the theatrical cut instead.
It's like they
this is the one time I would have said put this as the deleted scenes. Don't make a new cut. Just make those deleted scenes or alternate scenes.
I agree. Definitely.
Which is funny because I'm thinking of like another movie that really needed the cut, like the Daredevil director's cut. And, like, originally, they were going to have that as everything was deleted scenes. But then they ended up making the new cut, and now it's, like, a million times better than the theatrical version. It's like, think about it.
Just look at your movie.
Like, does it need this stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
This does
And
make...
obviously they went with the theatrical cut, so I don't think the road cut's supposed to be the definitive version or anything like that. They just released it because they were like, yeah, we have extra footage that we wanted to see.
Well, if it was the definitive version, they probably would have put director's cut.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're calling it the road cut, because it's like, yeah, this is just... It has Rogue in it and some other stuff. And this is just some other footage we shot. We'll throw it out there for you if you want to look at it.
I do want to know if the road cut is successful. Like, if a lot of people get it.
Yeah.
That way, people or studios are more inclined to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, where they're like, oh yeah, let's release some extra footage.
They don't do director's cuts that often.
No, they don't.
I mean, where are the big ones? We got Daredevil. We got the Lord of the Rings extended editions, which are amazing. Yeah. Those are also very much helped by extended footage.
And not to say that the theatrical versions are bad. They're just a lot like that much better with the extended editions.
Yeah. Yeah, those are like the big ones I can think of.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I'm sure.
Alien 3.
No, no.
Well, yeah, you never saw the theatrical cut.
No, I didn't.
So.
Yeah. Well, I never saw the theatrical cut for Daredevil either.
That's true. I didn't want to have you submit to that pain.
But yeah,
that movie's annoying. Theatrical cut. There's no plot. There's literally no plot. It's just It's a series of things happening. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'll talk about Daredevil
some other time.
I'll bring it up eventually.
What was I gonna say? But you did say I haven't watched any of the special features, and you said there are a lot of special features on this.
Oh yes. If you are a film buff like me and you really care about like the special features and stuff, the theatrical cut of the movie did not have any commentaries, which I was disappointed by. This one has two, one for the road cut and one for the theatrical cut, and they're very great, informative commentaries. I suggest if you're really a fan of those types of things, go get the road cut. Also, it's not very long. I think it's like an hour and a half worth of like documentary type stuff,
behind the scenes sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not as extensive as I'd like it to be. There's an excellent conversation. It's just Bryan Singer and Simon Kinberg and a bunch of the cast just talking for like half an hour, and it's really fun.
Okay.
And I don't know, you just get to see some of the dynamics that they have and how good friends they are, you know. But I don't know, it's not the best documentary type stuff I've seen for Blu-ray or DVD special features, but I think it's solid. If you're a film buff like I am, I would probably get it.
Yeah.
But if you don't care for that sort of thing, it's not worth getting the road cut if you already have the original version.
So yeah, that's what it comes down to, is if you don't have the original version, go ahead and get the road cut. You might as well have some of the extra stuff.
Or if you're a film buff and you really care about the
if you already if you already have the movie and you really want some more special features, go get the road cut. But if you just have the original movie, you don't really care much about special features and anything, and you're curious if the road cut is worth your time, I'd say it's not.
See, I would say I'm sure there's going to be some person on YouTube that's going to get all the extra footage and just make like a 20-minute video out of it. It's just be like, here's the extra footage from the road cut.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure someone's going to do that.
I'm sure it should not be difficult to track.
We're not going to do that.
No,
because we don't want copyright problems.
We are good legal citizens of the law.
Even though Warner Brothers keeps on putting copyrights on all my Batman Arkham Knight videos, but that's besides the point.
God dang it. Yeah, it's
a thing.
It's what it is. Go for it if you. You know,
I think it's really just the difference of, do you just want a longer movie or do you want a tighter story? Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that I don't think a longer movie really does much for the story anyway. So it's not like it's really a trade-off. It's just kind of like,
if you just really want to see more of the future stuff, you know.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's that basically that's our breakdown. They
play up a bit more of the love triangle from X-Men 3, but it's not as annoying as it was in X-Men 3. So there's that. But yeah, overall, then sort of a mixed recommendation, sort of just specific as to whether or not you have the original version or not.
Basically.
So, okay, everybody. Hopefully, this
got something from it.
This informed you, even though we kind of told you everything that's in the movie. So,
well, I mean, I don't think we're spoiling a whole lot by saying that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's really not missing a whole lot.
No,
if you take that stuff
out. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, adds a few little things here and there, but for the most part, not a great cut. Might want it for the special features.
Overall, X-Men 3 is still garbage.
Yes, that's correct.
That's my final word.
That is correct.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hello, everyone. This is Arrow 007,
with Cyclops.
and we just watched X-Men: Days of Future Past: The Road Cut.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, we're gonna give our thoughts on that, and if it's worth buying, if you've already gotten the theatrical cut, if you haven't if you haven't bought a copy of X-Men: Days of Future Past at all, go ahead and get
the Road Cut. Yeah, there's no reason not to, because it has the theatrical cut on there. And I will say, this is going to be a spoiler review, like a spoiler-filled review.
We are assuming you have seen.
We're assuming you've seen the first one, or you've seen the theatrical cut already. If you haven't, go buy it. Go buy the Road Cut. Watch it. Enjoy it. Was that because of they're experimenting on her? They must have had her for years. That explains why the Sentinels have gotten so good at adapting these abilities.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that it's really necessary to explain that.
I mean, if you really cared that much, you could extrapolate it. You could figure that out.
You can just be like, oh, they probably got, once they use Mystique's DNA to create Sentinels, and then eventually those Sentinels caught Rogue.
Yeah.
And then they have Rogue. Because Rogue's not with the Resistance, so it's like, okay, she's probably screwed somewhere and being experimented on.
Use your imagination, kids.
Because I was kind of interested in the Rogue Cut, because the way they were talking about it, I was thinking it was going to be like this kind of mutant containment camp, and it was going to have, we were going to see maybe some other mutants when they went on the rescue mission. It was going to be this, we're going to see, kind of what all these mutants that have been captured, what they've been doing with them, and just kind of explore the dystopian society a little more.
Nope.
But no, they literally break into this complex.
No, it's the X-Mansion.
No, I didn't even notice that, honestly.
Yeah, she's stuck in Cerebro.
Okay. Interesting.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Magneto and Iceman go to rescue Rogue, and they're in the sub-basement of the X-Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
interesting.
That's set with, that's part of a montage along with the scene where Magneto breaks back into the Pentagon to get his helmet.
Well, let's hold off on that for a second.
Okay.
I'll get back to that. But yeah, spoilers from this point on.
Yeah. I guess the big question is, does it really improve the movie all that much?
I kind of don't think it does.
I think it's a mixed bag.
Yeah,
very mixed bag.
There's a few lines here and there that I think should have made it into the theatrical cut, like just little dialogue and
for me, the biggest part that should have been left in is when they're explaining all the exposition about sending Wolverine back in time, and some of the mutants in 2023 are like, wait, if you do that, some of us might not even exist anymore. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, but we'd be saving the world. And they actually are having to make this decision. I like adding.
And that should have been in the theatrical cut. I think there's much more stuff in the theatrical cut that I like about the theatrical cut than the Road Cut. But there's probably a middle ground where there's some stuff that, as far as what the Road Cut adds, there's some stuff they could have taken from what the Road Cut adds, put it in the theatrical cut to make it better. Yeah. But overall, what the Road Cut adds, I think, makes it worse. Because, I don't like the Rogue plotline at all, really. You mentioned earlier that it kind of explains how the Sentinels have become, such great at adapting. Yeah, because they've been...
Because people always question, why do the Sentinels, why is Mystique the big person
when it should be
who's
Rogue
behind the creation of the Sentinels? And, yeah, it's not Rogue.
And it does kind of hint